everybody, Jerry Taggart here. Now be sure to watch Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV by subscribing on YouTube and following them on social media for all the latest Leicester City news and information. Come on, you foxes!
Hello, fellow Fox fans. What can we say? Crystal Palace won, Leicester City won. We drew. Was it a point gained or was it a point lost? Oh, sorry, 2 points lost. Let us know. Add your comments, add your thoughts in. But we could only draw. You know, we could not get a draw all season, like looking buses to come along at once. Welcome along. It is Leicester Till I Die TV, and my name's Chris. Although if you want to give me my full name today, I think you could probably say my full name is Pissed Off Majorly Chris. Leicester Till I Die TV. If you're watching us live, it's on YouTube at Leicester Till I Die TV. If it's on Periscope or Twitter, we're at Leicester TID. And if you are on Facebook, Leicester Till I Die is the group. And if you're watching us via the link that we post, which you probably are in Facebook, please give that little StreamYard link a click. It just brings your names up and we can see who we are talking to. No Julian today. Also, I should say as well, so if you want to watch this on catch up, like I say, Leicester Till I Die TV on YouTube. We are on all the major podcasts, including Spotify, Google, and Apple, and they're usually up about 20 minutes after we finish the broadcast here, or when I can be bothered, if truth be known. Like I say, no Julian today. It's just me and Brad, and I can see Brad is waiting patiently in the green room. I'm going to ask him to hold on for a bit longer, because I'm going to say now something. I've bottled this up for quite a few weeks now, and I think you probably know who and what I am going to talk about. We should have won that today. We should have been 4 or 5 ahead. All right, 5's maybe a bit, maybe 2 or 3 ahead at half time. We should have certainly had the penalty. I mean, what he runs up, he stops, He grabbed it, he wanted to take it, and then he fucking had a shit penalty like that. Now, this is the guy, and I've defended Inacho. I have defended him week after week, month after month, season after season. We bought him, and I think we've obviously been conned. You know, Man City did to us what we did with Harry Maguire and Man United. Maybe they were sat there thinking, hey, 30 million for this guy, thanks very much. I mean, my mother could have played better than he did today. She's been dead 2 years. I mean, you know, you've got to look at this guy and say he played well for Man City. And when we got him, I was thinking, yeah, him and Vardy going to be brilliant up front. Their pace, their speed, we will have Premier League defences shitting themselves with them two running at them. Couldn't play with Vardy. To be honest with you, he couldn't play with himself. And let's face it, most men can play with themselves, can't they? But he seems incapable of doing everything. He started off, he had a good touch, and then after that, it was downhill. If we'd had a decent striker on, we could have been, like I say, the penalty would have been scored, but, well, you can't guarantee that. I will admit that. But the chances are it would have been at least a better penalty. And I think we could have had a couple more goals. He is absolutely useless. And it's not just one manager that's saying it. You know, you've got to look at some players, and Gray, in fairness, is the same. And bringing Gray on, we'll talk about that later. But you have a player who is bought by a manager, Craig Shakespeare, who doesn't particularly seem to want to play him as much. So it makes you wonder whether maybe it wasn't his choice to buy him. But he didn't particularly think a lot of him. I wasn't there long, granted. Puel, he obviously didn't think much of him or everything about Puel. As manager, they have those thoughts and they're allowed to, decide whether they want to play a player or not. He obviously decided he couldn't do anything with him. Occasionally, I'm thinking Rodgers, well, he might just have got something out of Inacho, maybe just be turning it round. But he has the occasional good game, and we've seen him have good games. I was singing his praises after the European game earlier on in the season, but no, if you're watching this, Kelechi, please buy yourself a ticket anywhere. I don't care. I'll start a Just Giving page up for you so we can pay for the ticket. I don't care where it is. It could be Rochdale. I don't even think they would want you, to be honest with you. And if anybody's out there sits there and says, oh, you know what? Be careful, because these players, they've got feelings, They've got feelings, and they might actually be sat there listening to this. I doubt it, or watching it, or seeing the posts in the group. I don't care. I used to be in sales, right? I've been a sales manager. I've been just a general salesperson. If I had a bad day, I was hauled into the office by my manager and given a bollocking. And I had to take it. They're on however many thousands of pounds they are a week. And if they can't take being told when they are shit, and he is shit at the moment, please, somebody come and take him off us. I'll start a Just Giving page up. I've thrown 20 quid in already for the taxi. Somebody just come and take him and do us a favour. The question is, who wants him? Who would want him? I'm going to come to your comments. Let's just have a look before I bring Brad in. Thank you so much, Brad, because you've paired with me. You've let me rant. And normally we have this. We actually have said before, Brad's made the point, we don't actually come live until about 40 minutes after kickoff. Allows me to update the website and the Facebook, Twitter, and Brad for the Instagram. It also normally lets us calm down. But I can't calm down today. I'm fed up with defending him. Mark, who does the European show, and he's going to do the transfer show with us in January, he sort of said to me and Brad the other day when we were praising Inacho after the European game, he's shit. And I've got to be honest with you, Mark, I take it all back. Maybe you were right. Matthew, good evening, Matthew. It is evening now. I think we'll say it's evening. But that early touch was the only thing you did all game. Honestly, certainly. Somebody actually in the Facebook group said, apart from missing the penalty, he did nothing wrong. Surely he's got to be either on drugs or watching a different game, hasn't he? Andy Medhurst, good evening. Andy, Nacho is championship at best. I think you're way off the mark there. I think he's League Two at best, to be honest with you, and I don't think he's doing bloody much good there. Not going to change my mind, is it? Somebody's agreeing with me there. League Two at the best. Exactly what I said there. Yes, he was. Mate, I think the reason she struggled to win is was the lack of defending in the team. I know it is. Yeah, this is guys. Welcome along to LFC Red Forever channel. I did say earlier we got a bit of a Twitter group going between some of the podcast, videocast groups and stations, one from each team. This is the Liverpool guy. Welcome along, mate. He's got the experience of under Rodgers. I can't even blame Rodgers. You should be able to put a £30 million player on the pitch and then be able to at least look. I mean, Perez, he looked like he was up for it. And let's face it, neither me nor Brad are Perez's best friends. Brad's certainly not. But well, from what I saw of Perez, he actually wanted the ball today. He went for it. He was fighting for it. Nacho, he could have nipped off, had a shit and come back on and nobody would have noticed that he'd gone. Really? Yeah, Nacho is exactly. Can't agree with that. Can't argue with that, I should say. Hi, Chris. Hope you're well. Shocking today to replace 7 players. City third in the league is bad decision today. We should be fighting to go top. It is the old argument. We had this on the pre-match. Do you make the changes or don't you? We had sort of 2 games very quickly. A lot of those players, I don't think, in that first half, the team, the pick that Brendan picked was good. The players that had come in, Amati was having a good game. Mendy, as he always has done, has had a fairly decent game. But there was no final product. And that final product is the striker. Thank God for Barnes today. He dug us out of it. Then some idiot let Gray take the free kick. He doesn't even want us to win. I know he was fighting with Tillemans to take that, wasn't he? We'll come on to Gray later. That's another. Who's going to want Nacho after watching his performance? Exactly 100%. We always waste the first half. We pass it left to right, all nicey, but with no urgency until we go a goal down, run out of time. I know. And I'm going to upset Brad now without him even coming on screen yet. I'm going to upset him because he loves me and my stats. And I'm just going to bring the stats up here for you. I'm just going to get rid of that comment there. 17 shots we had during that game. 17, 3 on target. And I bet not one of those 3 was fucking Nacho. I tell you. Anyway, rant over. I've got it out of my system now. Brad is probably going to come on now and go how good and how wonderful Nacho was, and he loves him, and he wants him to start every game, and we should sell Vard. I don't know. Let's find out. Brad, thanks for being patient, mate. Welcome along. How are you? Enjoying the game?
I didn't in the weirdest sort of way. I don't really know how to start. I'm infuriated by seeing stats before I come on. I think I thought we were mates. Didn't think you'd throw that out before you bring me in.
I had to put that one on purely because of my Nacho rant.
Well, yeah, but I mean, again, this is probably another final example of why stats mean sod all, because the end result was we could have had 37. If you're only having 3 on target, you only deserve 1 outcome, and that's not 3 points. And look.
That was the point. In fairness, that was the point I was making, to have 17 shots and only 3 on target.
And look, you've done a fine job on ranting and picking apart Nacho's performance. So I think I'm going to leave the poor lad alone there today, because I'm going to point out something. There was a comment that was put back to me when it was brought on, when I made a quick comment about where we lost the game today. And that was, it wasn't just his fault. We dominated at 45 minutes. That was probably, and I know I've been saying it a lot recently, but that was our most comfortable 45 minutes on the ball against a deflated Palace side. With changes to the team, and they just didn't have that cutting edge. Nacho was more in the limelight, took most of the storm, and you know what? Up until he had that ball in his hands, the penalty, he actually was trying like everybody else, and it's easy to forget that with how awful he was afterwards. Do you want to know the moment I knew he missed, or it was going to get saved? When he stuttered.
Yeah.
I wouldn't take Nacho if you paid me. Chris is going to have to put a few zeros on that taxi fare as well.
Can I ask you a question then, Brad? Just to interrupt you, can I ask you a question? And you were saying it wasn't just Nacho in that first half. It was like, again, I say this a lot, it wasn't almost quite like watching Brazil. Had we had a player of Vardy, or whatever, had we had Jamie Vardy himself on that pitch, would it have been 0-0 at half time?
Well, you'd hope not, because he'd have took the penalty.
Yeah.
If it had come in 1-0 up, I said it, Palace didn't. The scariest thing about that performance, and people might not have taken it now because Barnes got a great goal to get us the point, was Palace didn't do much but step up their intensity and broke us down for their goal. They were poor. They weren't looking to. They were looking to get that half to 0-0 from the second it kicked off. That first half, come away with it. Take the kicking that Leicester are going to give us coming forward, and hope we come away with it. And when they did, they stepped up their pace, they stepped up the tempo a little bit, and scored. That was a bit concerning for me, because up until the second half, we was totally in control, and we just didn't put the finishing gloss on it. And I know a bit of credit may have to go to Palace's defending work, but you can't just lay the blame at one man. No matter how poor his performance was, it still took us 79 or 78 minutes, whatever minute it was, for Barnes' shot to give Keita much trouble. We didn't trouble him enough for all we had and all we did forward. And the 17 shots that apparently shows, that adds up block shots and that adds up awful shots. I don't remember their keeper doing much in the way of picking the ball out of his net when Barnes scored. That was something that needs to be circled today, and obviously the penalty save. but he missed that as soon as he stuttered. A guy off confidence, not in form, shit, needs to put that ball in the way to get people off his back. And
He's
that's
off
cost us today.
confidence, but he was confident enough to grab the ball and go
Which
up
was
to
good
take
to see, but he ruined it by doing that start,
Yeah.
start, run. He should, when you're in that form and you're taking a ball and you go, no, I want to correct my way here. I want to get a bit of confidence by myself. Smash it. If the keeper saves it and it breaks his wrist doing so practically, then you say fair play keeper. He's made a decent save. It happens. When they're like that, me as the next goalkeeper, I'm laughing at that when I'm diving because I know I'm saving it. But the quality elsewhere until that second half when we took Chowdhury off, and that wasn't through a bad performance, but we just went more attacking.
Yeah.
I think we were too negative in that second half. I think the changes needed to be made at half time.
I was
just think they came a bit late.
I was surprised that the changes weren't made at half time. I'm going to agree with you there. I'm just looking on the BBC site as we talk here and where the fans can go on and rate the players. And I thought, to be honest with you, there were, a lot of them are 5s and 6s. I thought there were some players, that deserve better than that. But again, and I keep going on about it, Inacho 3.77 is the lowest of either team. Just have a look at Palace. I say either team. In fairness, I could be doing an injustice. Just check Palace. Nope, nobody in Palace got under a 5.
Yeah, there was one player that got away with it for Palace for getting a shit rating, because if he hadn't scored, I'd be coming on today saying that the one thing you could compare him to for absolutely fluffing it up front was Zaha. Until he scored, Zaha was fluffing chances left, right, and centre.
Yeah,
I mean, the commentary I had Matt Upson on commentary, and he said when he was played through, and he was offside in the end, but he probably had an inkling he was offside anyway. He says any striker should just roll it into net. Doesn't matter if the flag goes up and then you turn out you're half a yard off like he was. Stick it in the net. I mean, I'd be screaming at Inacho like I wasn't already, but I would have been screaming at Inacho if that had been him. I'd be like, put it in the net. Beat that keeper. Because Casper's a keeper that, unless he's certain, plays to the whistle.
Yeah, we had Leon Osman commentating on Amazon, and he said and he's not even a striker, and he said exactly the same thing. The way the rules are now, the flag doesn't go up straight away, even though on that occasion, he was way offside. But it doesn't matter. He should have buried that, one-on-one with the keeper. He should have buried it. But I just think that, and this is my worry all the time, is if, let's say Vardy got injured tomorrow, and somebody actually put this up in the Facebook group, would we have done as well as we did when we won the when we won the Premier League, if we'd had Inacho instead of Ulloa?
You don't know that. That's that. You can't answer that question because the manager was different.
But with Ulloa, when he, if Vardy was injured, there wasn't who's going to score the goals for us here? Who's going to score the goals for us here? Barnes is the one that's keeping us going at the moment, and he's the guy that 6 months ago was getting panned for not being able to find the net. It's just if Vardy was to break his leg tomorrow and be out for 5 or 6 weeks, could you honestly say you would be happy for the next 6-7 games minimum to have Inacho as our main striker?
No, I wouldn't. Why would anybody on his confidence level at the moment? It is level of performances since that European game, which, even Mark brought us down to earth and we reevaluate ourselves on. He's just not lived up to it, and he's not coming in and be able to do the job. I mean, I tongue in cheek said, someone put in the group, I think it was actually Craig, maybe in our chat, that said, who are you going to bring in who's got the quality ready but would sit on the bench? Well, Gabriel Jesus is doing that for Man City. And he said, why would he come from Man City's bench to sit on Leicester's bench? I said, for the same reason he's sitting on Man City's bench. He's waiting for the main talisman to finally have his moment where he can't do it anymore, like Aguero and Vardy, of similar ages and similar points in their career. He probably wouldn't ever drop here. I mean, it's now outlandish shout, but we need someone of that sort of quality to come in. So why not turn around to Man City and say, here's 50 million, we'll take Jesus.
And I think, let's be honest with you, players these days are prepared not everybody, I grant you, not everybody, but I'd say at least 50% of the players are prepared, if the money's right, to go to a club where there might not be a starter. Hashtag drink water. But let's have a look at some of the comments that are coming up here. Hello, lads. Hello, whoever you are. Palace are low on confidence today and they're there for the taking. I mean, they've just come back off a 7-0 defeat. It was going to go one way or the other. They were either going to concede early and collapse again, or they're going to put a decent performance up. Playing Leicester, it was always going to be the second one. As for Nacho, the goalkeeper sent him the wrong way for the penalty. Seriously, though, 2 points lost today. Look at Vardy's penalties versus Nacho's. Vardy smashes it. Nacho tries to be fancy. No cutting edge is a worry we've had for years without Vardy on the pitch. Sort it out and buy a striker, for fuck's sake. I agree with you now. I totally agree with you. And here's a point. Nacho or Akinbaye? I tell you what, for me, Akinbaye every day of the week, because at least he went on that pitch and he wasn't played, and you could say this is true with Nacho, he wasn't played in the position that he needed to be played, but my God, he gave you 110% every game. Nacho's lucky if he sometimes gets up to the 10%.
Yeah, but Akinbaye also gave us 90% misses. But I get your point with Akinbaye. I tell you what, Akinbaye's first season at Leicester, I'll take it, because I think he got 11 goals in all competitions that season. I'd be more confident of Akinbaye's first season at Leicester, where he actually did okay and got the goals he was brought in to do, than I would Nacho's. I mean, look,
that's a fair point, Andy.
Yeah, we're bringing through youth. We've been doing it for the last 4 or 5 seasons. It wouldn't be a shout that I'm going to say his name wrong, and I do apologise. Admiral Musque. I might have pronounced that wrong. Someone's going to butcher me in the comment.
I'm going to query you on that, mate. You got closer than I ever would do.
Yeah, but he's I believe one of the main goal scorers for the under-23s. He's always backing the goal. Would we bring him up? Should we do it? I don't know.
George Hurst?
Yeah, I know, but come on, Andy, even you have to admit, Gabriel Jesus or Iniacho, I think it's the most easiest decision ever. Someone who doesn't know football would pick.
Indeed.
I'm
just saying, would you take bring George Hurst? I think he's out on loan, isn't he? Would you bring him back?
I don't know. I mean,
he can't do any worse, can he?
Well, the thing is, I can only go off my knowledge of the under-23s. And earlier when we started this, I made no statement that I don't follow it as an aggressive level as I do the first team. I am a part of the under-23s group that another Brad has started up. So if you don't know what that is, do check that out. It's just the Leicester City under-23s. That's where I get my knowledge from. That's how I know we're doing well. And you know, maybe I should commit more to watching as much of Leicester as I could. But he's a name that stands out, who's been doing well, who's been scoring goals, is in good form. But then you also now say, is it too late to do that? Because now you could bring him in to have him in the squad things and not have Nacho on the bench, but he's not going to get the game time if Vardy doesn't get injured, because the gap between games is a bit further apart soon, isn't it?
Yeah. Somebody may know, and you may know here, Brad, because I know obviously come the new year we can change the Europa League squad. I'm not sure. Can we change the Premier League squad?
Yes, I believe so, because you have to register players for transfers.
Because we've got the transfer. Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Very, very important. I did bring this up earlier, but you did ignore it, so I'm not going to let you get away with it. I'm going to bring this up again, and it's a very, very, very important post. And you know, there you go.
Wow, you know nothing, Jon Snow. That's all I know about Game of Thrones. I know who it's on about because of that. That's all I know it.
You have got a bit of a Jon Snow look about you tonight with the hoodie you're wearing.
No, mate, this is me bear rug that I've got around me. It's supposed to be a dressing gown. It's like a bear.
Andy Medhurst here. I'd take a punt on Therese Campbell. The gentleman from, and I do apologise, from the Liverpool fan group. What about taking Origi? He's available. I'd take anybody other than Nacho at the moment. And Origi, I don't know enough about him, but I do know he has scored quite a few for Liverpool on and off. Maybe he's going through a bad patch at the moment. If you're offering him out, maybe that's not a good sign. It did start off so well because that first half we were dominating, weren't we?
Yeah, we were. And to touch on a point that you kind of said, I actually don't. I think Palace would have capitulated if we scored in that first half. I think it was very much written for us to get that lead and come out. And I don't think Palace actually played that well. I'm never going to be like a manager that comes out and say, "Oh, the best team lost," because no, the result was fair. They had one chance, took it in. We had three, we only took one. You know what I'm like, my stance on that. I'm never going to come out and say anything like that. I just feel that Palace didn't have to do too much to get something from the game today, and that was a bit worrying. But we've got to go out there and get a striker's option. And the problem is, as good as we are at finding these gems, we've never been able to really, since Vardy, find one to buy up front. And, you know, we could rely on our youth, like we've just stated there, and like it's been brought up by you guys in the comments that are watching. But it'd be interesting to see your opinions. I mean, I think personally, someone like obviously Jesus is, I've probably said that more in tongue in cheek, but if you're looking for experience, know what he's able to do in the Premier League, and maybe looking to get on that first team pitch, I'm sure he'd rather be on Man City's bench than that was, but you don't know what he's like as a person. His ambitions might change. He might fancy the challenge. Maybe I'm clutching at a very big bale of straws and not getting anywhere. But who would you go out there and go? Because there's not going to be anyone you could name, and that's the biggest struggle we have. You could name players that we could bring in, Ings, Southampton with his form, etc.
Yeah.
But no one's going to want to leave the current club if they're doing well and to come to us in the middle of January, not to sit behind Vardy. And that's the hardest way you're going to explain to someone.
The thing is, as well, there's a lot of names that are mentioned that we could have gone for in the summer. Ollie Watkins is one that was mentioned earlier. He started off really well. I don't know if he's doing as well as he was, but that's it with strikers. Well. Sorry?
He's still doing fairly well.
Is he? Yeah. But having only just moved, he's very unlikely to sort of move again. Something that I say, our commentator was Leon Osman on Amazon, and about the 68th minute, he actually said, people will be asking themselves about Leicester City after this performance. Are they really title contenders, and are they even really top four contenders on this performance? He's got a point, hasn't he?
Yeah, but okay, then are we title contenders and top four side going off our Man City performance, our Arsenal performance, our Manchester United performance? I don't like this. I don't like this judging it on one game, because if that's the case, Arsenal are relegated. Manchester United should have gone down when they played Palace in the second game of the season. I think it was their first. And we'd have a crazy Premiership season predicting it of just one game. You know, we've just seen West Brom draw with Liverpool. Now, I'm not saying they're going to drop points. They're probably going to get on a win this time round, and that. But it's a close league. It's a weird league, and it is what it is. At the end of the day, I don't think we did much wrong, but put the ball in the net. We got 75% of the job done right, and the only thing is Palace for goals and taking their chances matched us in the final third. We need to be more openly creative. I'd rather see us have 7 shots, 6 on target, and us be talking about, oh, it was close. Yeah, Barnes had that 1-on-1. Vardy took that one in, and then saying 17 shots, 3 on target, and 12 of them were blocked anyway.
I'm going to, on that point, I'm just made a note there because I just want to come back to something and not forget to ask you. But just before that, when Vardy came on, it was Pratt that went off. Did that surprise you, or was that a fair?
I mean, you could see that the manager was trying to slowly make what these changes we're trying to do with changing the shape and bring them in at points.
Yeah, we'd look.
I'm going along.
I'd say if they have got one, they must have a striker. As I say, but I'd take anybody at the moment. But like I say, today's maybe not the day to be asking me that.
And look, I mean, it's all nice. this talk about title stuff, you know, I don't like to kind of get reeled in by the fishermen out there that try and say it, the media talk and that. And look, it's like I said, just enjoy it. All right, we didn't get the result we wanted today. It was a bit of a naff result. You know, if maybe if we didn't have to play 50 hours after we've just played a grueling game against Manchester United, and we might have done it if it had been another day's break in between it. We'd probably been fresh and we wouldn't have had to make so many changes. But it is what it is in football, you know, and it's Leicester City to a T. Who have we got next in the league, Chris?
Newcastle. And
3-0
actually,
win. You watch us go and do it. You watch us do it in Leicester style.
Funny thing is, though, Newcastle aren't playing till Wednesday.
Yeah, but what day are we on now? So we're on Monday, so they've got 2 days.
Yeah.
But so they play us with less break than we have between them, don't we? So
yeah, we've got a longer break
then
now.
Go and do a typical.
You know, but just
no, I wouldn't take a punt on Pookie from Norwich. I'm sorry, I just wouldn't.
No,
he's not for me.
What about this from
Matthew? Not the worst idea. It's not the worst idea playing as a false nine, but I think then you just lose the creativity on the left. He likes to burst at people. I mean, again, tongue in cheek, I'll probably get laughed at for stating this. I said Barnes has quickly over this season developed into Leicester's very own Eden Hazard on that left because he goes down the wide. He cuts in. He's cutting in and taking shots though. Everything we asked him to step up from last season and contribute with, he's doing it with. So he's doing his job out there. What he's doing.
And I think the fact that he is doing that, and I'll just come on to Fozzie in a minute. He is doing what we asked him to do, which was progress, get better. Gray, I will come on to Gray later, but Gray and Inacho for me, and I'm sorry to keep bringing back up, but they haven't progressed. And I think it is time now, the transfer window's coming up. I can't see anybody buying them, but at least taking them on loan. I think it's time to ship out so we can ship in. But the point that I wrote down, and it was going back to what you said earlier about the way we win, etc. And it was a question on TalkSport as I was driving out this morning, and it was: do you want to see your team win pretty, so play nice passing football and win, or are you happy for them to win ugly as long as it's a win?
I'm happy. I think I've said this 7,000 times in my life, and I've said it probably a few times since this channel has been up and running. I would not have cared today if it had been a 96-minute corner and a miracle happened where Wes Morgan was on the pitch and he headed it in and we took the lead in the 96th minute. I don't care if it's fancy and it's 3-0. I don't care if it's passed around and it's 1 or 2-0. I do not care. I don't get how fans can get on about a style of football. Yeah, we want to see fluid FIFA-style football. We're too warped in how it's played on a virtual premise. You can't always play fast-flowing football when the opposition don't set up to play it. Because let's face it, Palace came with the objection of one thing: get the ball, hoof it, send it up to Benteke, hopefully Zaha can catch up to play. It's exactly how they played pretty much the full 90 minutes with a bit more flair in the second half. It is what it is. We didn't get the game won today, but we played very well, I think. I think the deflation is this is more 2 points dropped than anything because the performance didn't get the result over the line that we was expecting and probably wanting from that game, let's face it. No disrespect to Palace.
Brett, not Brad, but Brett, maybe I've missed something. I don't know why you've put... yes, I have actually now. I have just missed it. I've just taken your mobile number out. Don't know if that is your mobile number or somebody else's. But just going back to the very important topic of Jon Snow being Brad, can you get me Cersei Lannister's mobile number? Brad's got no idea who Cersei Lannister is, you know.
I can give it a go, but I'll have to Google it first.
Yeah, I don't know whose mobile number it was, but I've just taken that out for security. Talking of players, as we have done tonight, and I keep saying I'm going to come back to him, but talking of players that aren't fulfilling the potential, and like I say, for me, that's in action. I'm really surprised. I wish Mark had come on tonight and back me up here, but Mark seems to have sort of gone a bit quiet somewhere. But Mark, get on if you're watching. Get on here and back me up. Bringing bringing Gray on? I know we did say that in the pre-game we said, is he going to come on and maybe just sort of up his price a little bit because we have got the transfer window coming up. But what did you think of Gray coming on?
I know he came on. I know he passed the ball. I don't know much else about his performance. He didn't.
He grabbed the ball for the free kick.
The problem
Nothing
is,
like Nacho did for the penalty.
yeah, but
and then blasted it into Rose Ed.
The problem is when your manager 3 months ago or however long it was comes out and pretty much says he can get on his bike. Even when you come on, it's hard to put in a strong performance. And I know you're on this much money, you're still wearing a shirt. Maybe you can change your manager's mind. I get it, but he's never had that mentality. No. You know, I worked at the ground and the players on match day were in our closed quarter sort of area, and he never seemed to strike me as the sort of guy that he's pure 100% confidence player. If it's not going his way, his arms are swinging, his gloves are thrown on the floor, his head drops, he's spitting his dummy out, he's throwing his toys on the pram, he's going to sit down and take his ball home. He just doesn't have the right mentality that he's needed to become a great player, because he has shown flashes, has it? And I might get left out of the building at my own room here by saying he's a talented player because he's showing it. Anyone that remembers the story and the potential of a certain Ravel Morrison at Manchester United, he reminds me in a nutshell of him. He had it all at his feet. He had it all to become a great player and a good pacey winger that was vital to a side. And it's like he can't be arsed with it. You know, and I kind of get that feeling with Iniacho. The second he missed that penalty for Iniacho to kind of back that point, as soon as that happened, his head dropped and he couldn't be bothered. He felt he'd let the team down and let himself down, whatever went through his head. And Gray kind of went, I'll just do something neat, get a few touches, get myself called out on the TV, spotted a few times. Who wants me? Because he didn't really run at them. He didn't really do anything really of any great thing. He's got to be replaced now. He's got to be made of a replacement. It's got to be brought in now. He can't be made because we've tried it with Iniacho. And unless we're going to promote Admiral or any of the other strikers from the 23s over January and rearrange our 25 man or however many squad it is, it's got to happen now. We've got to bring someone in or promote them. There's no two ways about it. I've given up with Nacho.
We have been saying this now for the past, just what Fozzie's World has said there. How long is he going to go on for? And isn't it time to have a replacement now? Yes, it is. And it was time to have a replacement maybe 2 or 3 windows ago to let them bed in and let them, find out how we play. A bit like Soinshu had the year in the squad before he came through. We do need somebody there because I think Vardy, he is amazing how he's going on. And, he doesn't look to be slowing down at all. But there will come a time, and I think he will end up becoming more of a impact sub, maybe for the last 10, 15 minutes, and give us everything in those time. We are desperate for somebody, aren't we? Though, really.
Yeah, we are, and it's coming a bit of a tired point when we talk about Nacho, and rightly so, because it is an issue that needs resolving, and there's some. And I'm not saying for a second that our backroom staff hasn't been looking at it. Because this is obviously the best time we get our scouts out before, a month before, over the busy periods in England and before countries abroad that have like a bigger break than us because they don't play over the Christmas period. In November, get them out to watch players that are out on loan at other clubs or are not featuring as much as other clubs, but get it, up and coming. It's a reason we brought Fofana. It's a reason we're taking our punt on Under, who's injured at the moment, to bring a point, but he's not the oldest player coming through. I mean, I don't know how well he's doing because I'll put my hands up. I do not care too much unless it's a name that floats around quite a lot. I don't really know too much about the other leagues, like the French leagues or the German leagues. I know the basics, I know the obvious, but I don't know anything outside of it. And again, if anyone can
Ronaldo, then are we?
Yeah, if anyone can do it, I mean, I don't know. I know he had a good start to it, and that's only because of what I heard elsewhere. But how's Moise Keane doing at PSG? Because if he was doing, if anyone can tell me how he's doing, because the last I knew at the start of their season, he wasn't doing too bad when he was on loan. Everton clearly don't want him, see him as a waste of money. And I can't see him being of that higher quality enough to be up there with the likes of Neymar and their front men. That's the sort of player you're going to look for, who wants to be in the Premiership proving a point, but isn't getting the opportunity to.
I'm going to be probably shot down with flames, but who is Ivan Toney?
I have no idea. No idea. Do you know what the funniest thing is? My dad's a Wolves fan, and he, obviously we know the horror injury they had to their player. And he said he's hoping the Wolves go in for Troy Deeney, which I kind of laughed at before. But then if you're looking, that's the sort. I know that's a little bit of a raised smile and a hands and head moment. But if you're looking for a player that's experienced in this division, and I wouldn't mind being an impact player, they're the sort of caliber of players that our scouts will be looking at. Are we going to go for the experience and age?
Yeah. The only reason I was laughing at Troy Deeney is because if you remember, I think it was literally 3 seasons on a trot, he was linked with us.
Yeah, I know. I know
and
that.
3 seasons on the trot, he got a better deal off Watford. I think Troy Deeney is a Watford man through and through. I don't think he would look
definitely.
He would just use that just to get himself better deals.
Yeah, totally. And I'm not saying we should go from and bring him in, but that's the sort of players that we've got to be looking at. Someone who's got a bit about them.
No, ignore that one. Ignore that one. We'll come back to that one. This is the one I was trying to bring up. I think we should go all out for Zaha.
He didn't impress me today, like I said, and I stand by it. Unless someone's going to tell me differently, apart from his goal, Zaha was nearly as bad as Nacho up front. He missed a hatful.
I think with Zaha, he's
the reason he only had 1 shot on target. Ironically,
I think I think the thing with Zaha is though he looks good in a really, let's face it, poor Palace side.
But again, you could criticise. Sorry, go on.
No, I think he stands out because Palace aren't a particularly good side, and they rely on him to always dig them out. But whether he would do better anywhere else, I don't know.
Again, he seems to have the same attitude problem as some of the players like that. When he can be arsed, he'll put the effort in.
Yes.
Because he goes missing quite a lot. He's not as good as people seem to be making out. I see it every year, every window. He'll go to a dormant. He'll go to this. He'll go to that. Well, why hasn't he? Because they're not coming in for him. And I think there's a big reason for that.
And that didn't work out, did it?
No, it didn't. No, it didn't.
I mean, apparently Ivan Toney plays for Brentford, and he was 10 million from Peterborough.
So, sorry, I'm going to claim because I genuinely don't know who he is. I'm sure he's doing well. I'll have to look at his stats and see his goals he scored to see if I'd say yes or no to him. But he's going to be hard pressed. Yeah. We're going to be hard pressed to do the impossible.
Yeah, it's a hard attitude thing. Yeah,
he only turns up when he needs it.
Yeah,
because he knows he's not going to get put on the bench, and when he does, he throws his toys out of pram for 2 or 3 games, and he's back in, and he turns up magically. I don't want that at Leicester.
Couple of points here. Ivan, good afternoon, Ivan. I blame Rodgers for the draw. We deserve to win this game. And a Facebook user, Rodgers deaf to blame. 7 changes too many against the team that couldn't hit a cow's arse with a banjo. I don't blame Rodgers because I can understand. We have only played 2 days ago, and yeah, I used to be one of those that said like, oh, in the good old days, we used to play week in, week out with a leather ball on mud-laden pitches, and they could have a fag and a beer. And I said this in the pre-match game, they could have a fag and a beer, after the game and still play 2 days later. It's a different world we live in today. And you and I we speak to Julian when he joins us, Julian Watts, the ex-Leicester player, in this very show. It is different today, and I think the 2 games like that, you do. Yeah, and those changes that he made are players that he brought in that haven't let us down when they've been called on earlier in the season.
No, that's true. They've not. So I don't think it was the case of people were concerned with the players that started it. The problem is this isn't like it's news/breaking news only just happened this season in football. We've had these 2 day gaps in winter for years on end. It's nothing new to any club in the Premier League or any club in England that you play 2 games in the space of just over 48 hours, right? Now, maybe the only thing I could say is I expected Soyuncu to play, but you've only got 2 ways to really handle this. You either go, okay, we'll go with Tillemans from the start. We'll go with Vardy from the start, and we'll try and maybe he should have. Maybe this is just one of them where it's 50-50 in my opinion. And you could go with maybe going right. We'll go Vardy. We'll go Tillemans. We'll go Perez. We'll go Barnes, and we'll go gun ho at this. Hopefully, we can seal it in the first 45 minutes, and then the likes of Soyuncu at the back comes off, and Amati comes on, and changes are made just to rest players and shore us up, and we see out a 1 or 2-0 win. But then, we could have easily been sat here today talking about, oh, well, Rodgers, he played Vardy up front and he was knackered. Oh, Tillemans looked. And I'm not saying he was, I'm just saying this is a hypothetical because, you can't predict the future. But we could have been sat here going, oh, they look tired, they should have changed more. And then, we come away with a 1-0 loss or the same result as we did today because I think it's sod's law. The players can only do so much in 50 hours, and so can the manager. It just didn't fall for us right in the end. We came away with a point and not 3.
We are very lucky here that we have. We're sat here doing this with hindsight, the fact that we've just watched the game. And like I say, I've changed my opinion over the years from they used to, do us, 3 games in a week, like I just said before. Things have changed, and we can look back at the game and say, well, maybe he should have done this, but he didn't. But like you say, he did what he thought was best, and it is 2 games quick in a row. And as Andy says here, definitely, that team was capable of beating Palace.
And should have.
Yeah.
Like I said, a manager in this situation normally sticks or twists unless they haven't got the depth. And do you remember this time last season? This is a perfect time to bring it up. We were scared. When we had the likes of Mendy coming on around Christmas time, when the slump really started and we hit like 4 or 5 or 6 defeats out of 7 or whatever it was, we were scared because the backup players were coming on, and we're going, oh God, how are we going to win this game? Now we're sitting here going, to be fair, that 11 regardless should have won that game. And that's a positive to take from in a weird situation, and shows how far in a year we've come.
That is that is an excellent point, Brad. Really, really excellent point. Mark, good evening, Mark. What we were saying earlier, what I was saying earlier, he hasn't improved, and as I say, I don't think he is going to. Just to sidetrack quickly, Brad, can I just bring this one up again? Stephen, good evening, Stephen. How are you doing, sir? Brad, you mentioned the under-23s. Do you want to give a shout out for the group?
Yeah. So the under-23s, it's I could be wrong. So it's Leicester. It's either Leicester City or LCFC official under-23s. If you type it on Facebook, you'll find it. It's I apologise if he doesn't want his name out here, but it's Brad Hinks. He does the it's on Facebook.
Brad Hinks, I think, yeah, Hinks.
Yeah, he does the Facebook page. You can find it on Facebook. If not, look out for a comment on YouTube by Focus Foxes, or maybe Chris will do it himself, and I'll just put the Facebook page, the official title in there. So after the show's gone live, check the comments for that person commenting, and it'll be the title of the Facebook page for it. I think
Brad does occasionally. I don't know. I think he was in earlier, to be honest with you, because I saw he didn't come up with Brad at the end. So he does watch us. So Brad, if you're watching this, come on, post it on there, and we'll give it a shout out for you for the under-23.
He does great work. Him and his family do great work for the under-23s. Are always there, and he does great work giving us all the latest updates on the under-23s. He's a good lad, and like I said, if it weren't for him, I wouldn't know too much about our under-23s. So definitely, guys, check it out on Facebook.
it is hard to keep up with all the different teams, as well. Thank God we haven't got a reserve team anymore, but we have got the women's team to consider. Maybe we should have maybe they've
Maybe
got
we
a
should
strike.
swap Nacho with their strike force, put them on the
Yeah,
pitch.
give them, imagine they might turn down Nacho as well at the moment. Fozzie's World, good shout. Troy Deeney is a fighter and does score goals. And personally, he's past his best. I mean, if we're going to bring somebody in, is he any younger than Vardy? He's about the same age. If we need somebody. I'm sorry, but younger than that.
That's true. I mean, but if you're bringing him in for a temporary job, that is the quality of strike you're looking at. I would laugh you out the building. But also, if you're going to say for a short-term option until we can maybe go in the summer for a bigger striker where we know where we stand, because if Leicester finish the season in the top four, like we look like we're on course to do so far this season with how things have started, it's more appealing for a striker to say Champions League football, top four credentials. Now we're even improving on season after season. It's a good project. Do you want to come to us? And trying to say to a striker, well, we're looking like getting top four. We're doing okay. Will you come in and take us up? You're gonna struggle to persuade a very good quality striker to move in January. I mean, unless Lionel Messi wants to give it a shout because he's bored of Barcelona, because what he's been coming out saying about his contracts. You know what? We'll just take a loan out, pay his wages. It's just no big deal.
Pay, mate.
But on a serious note, it'd be like Andy Carroll coming to it. If you wanted to give us a target man option, I know that's people might laugh, oh, he's injury prone, he's no good. But Troy Deeney, Andy Carroll are your short term replacements that you bring in on a year's deal, 6 months or whatever, and then maybe you go for a bigger striker. When you're looking more in a stature of a club and going, Leicester aren't no longer the team that might get a push for top four, might win a second title, as unlikely as that sounds, even before today's results. But bringing in a quality striker and telling them they've probably still got a year on the bench behind Vardy, as long as he continues the way he's doing this season, you want to be telling them that in the summer when you're going Leicester finished first, second, third, or fourth. They got X far in the Europa League or won it or whatever. They're in the Champions League. You're appealing to an agent as well as a player. In January, you're trying to say to a player 6 months at a Premier League club that might get you in Champions League and a big bonus. Let's get my player there. We're probably going to have to bring in someone who's already got the bit between the teeth just to bring. There you go. That must be him there.
Yeah, Brad.
So follow that link down below. Cheers, Brad, for that. And I do enjoy your work, mate.
I'll bring it up.
Yeah.
It's not showing. Let me just see. Just bear with me a second there. John, I'll call you John Snow because we've got two Brads. Let me just see what I'm doing here. Just while I'm doing this, just a point on. Is this going to work? Everything's going a bit slow. There we go. Leave it up there for you for a bit. Thanks, Brad. That's the under 23s. Give them a follow. Brad does a great job in that group. He helps us out a lot here with Europe as well. He does like his Leicester City, Brad. He's a great guy. Get in that group and give it a follow. Brad, and I didn't know about that one, so I've learned. Somebody send me an invitation later, invite me into the group, one of the Brads anyway. But what you were saying before, Jon Snow, Brad, I'll come to you if I want to call you think of it better. If we sign a striker that you say maybe doesn't want to play second fiddle to Vardy, but even now, if they come in January, they have got the chance of playing European football.
Exactly. And like I said, you've got to bring in an immediate striker. That's what fans are crying out for, because we're not asking for a backup striker. We're asking for an immediate striker. Look at Chelsea with Giroud. Look at Edison Cavani at Manchester United. And look, I'm not saying that buy a Troy Deeney, buy a Carroll, but they're the sort of calibers of player that might want a shot at. Are you telling me Andy Carroll's not going to sit on the bench for 6 months or 8 on a 12-month contract at Leicester, right? To come on with 15 minutes to go up front with Vardy and just have that ball pumped into him, and he gets ahead on it. A chance of winning the Europa League at his age with his with his career stats, yeah, he's not going to be quality for 4 or 5 years. We're not bringing him in for that. We're bringing him in as a big plaster over a wound that needs to be fixed severely in the summer. I think you promote Admiral to the bench, get him involved in the European experience, get him involved in the matchday experience for the future, and then you bring in a solid, guaranteed, can go up along Vardy, can help Vardy out next season, and maybe even play as a 2 striker and get them in the doors. And you've always got someone you can go, as they're called in football. I hope it's not taken the wrong way, but go on, Mr. Big Lump, go up there and get your head on it. Because they're the sort of players you're going to have to bring in through January, unless you're going to tell me you're going to buy a 20-year-old from another league and thrust him straight into the first team.
Slimani?
Yeah, but he's a hopeless lump. I want a half-decent front lump that can do it in this league. I'm sorry, I was never taken by Slimani. And he's got no interest in the club. He's not had interest in the club for ages.
I jest.
Yeah, I know you do, mate, but I have to stay professional. I have to give my opinion.
only because I still think one of the biggest mistakes that we did was getting rid of Ujoa. I really do. But yeah, although as they Troy Deeney, problem with somebody.
But if you took Troy Deeney on with 10 minutes to go, we haven't scored from a corner all season. Yeah. Are you thinking with Evans and Soyuncu, that's another big burly bloke who likes to get his head on the ball and stick it in? Because he's done it before with Watford. He's not afraid to get it there in corners and try and get on the end of it.
No. In fairness,
you're welcome, Stephen.
I'm not a huge, as you probably guessed, Troy Deeney fan.
No, I'm not the biggest fan of him, but he's just
my worry is
an instant name.
He wouldn't come to us as a short-term stopgap. He would want a 2-3 year contract, and I think he's too old to be offering him that. But if we can get a good signing, you say, yeah, you're right, you're coming in. Vardy's our number one choice, but we got Europe again come February, 2 games a week, cold weather, bad pitches.
Possibly FA Cup.
Possibly FA Cup, exactly. So you are going to get the chance to play. It's not just like but we would say Andy's still going with the Jon Snow jokes there. We'll move on. I don't know about this one though, Matthew. Maybe if we did attract a real top prospect, we adjust our style slightly to accommodate. Brendan doesn't do this style to accommodate the players that we've got when he brings Perez or Nacho on up front, does he?
He does shape things around a little bit. He's become a bit more lenient in doing that. We've seen a lot more of Perez than we both thought we'd see this season after a shocking start. I still stand by it. He's not done too much to give me much hope that he's going to come good, but he's better than what he was.
Good game today.
He was all right today. I tell you who my man of the match was, and it was pointed out by Upson. And I don't think he had an unsuccessful one. Johnny Evans. He made every single pass outside wide, and it was on the boot of James Justin or whoever was out there collecting it. I think today, one thing we also missed today, which is what really surprised me, especially after Roger stating he would feature, was we missed maybe that defender that likes to go forward a bit more. I remember that there was one bloke on who I talked to a lot called Andy. He's from the old Scottish area, so he had a few choice words about thinking of what seeing Fofana break forward. Your heart does go in your mouth, but I think say maybe as well we lack that a bit. I think maybe it'd have been nice to give Soyuncu even half an hour because he does like to go out with the ball. Soyuncu when he's got the ball at his feet. I'm surprised he didn't feature at all.
Well, we
could change at the top as well.
That was very nicely led in there, Brad. Anybody would think we actually almost rehearsed this.
I know, right?
But then you carry on watching. You think there's no way this could ever be rehearsed, But let's have a look at the ratings and the manager and the man of the match straight after this.
Hi, Alan Smith here. Be sure to watch and listen to Chris on Leicester Till I Die TV. You can also subscribe on YouTube and various social media channels. Up the Foxes!
There we go. Thanks, Alan. I'm just trying to... StreamYard is going so slow at the moment. I'm trying to get everything off here. But let's go back and have a look. And thanks to Alan here for doing my man of the match and my ratings. We've often said this, in fairness, I don't give him a lot of time to think about this. Literally, the final whistle goes, and I expect him to have sent it me within 3 or 4 minutes so I can get them up on the site. So he doesn't have time like us to sit down and look at it and think, yeah, let me have a think about this. So it is quite off the bat. But let's have a look what he's done here. He's gone, he gave the manager 6, the team 7, and man of the match, which was also the Amazon overall man of the match. So not just Leicester, but the whole 2 teams for Amazon. But Alan's gone for Harvey Barnes. What do you think about that, Brad?
I think Alan's getting better at this. No, he's
so
right.
Glad so glad.
I jest with him because obviously we've had times where we've disagreed, that he's not given as much credit as we thought the performance deserved, and he does a fantastic job. I'm sure he knows if he's watching, he's probably knows I'm meaning it tongue in cheek whilst punching me in the face on the screen. But I mean, it's not a bad shout. It's good marks all around. It's fair reflection on it. Eden, Harvey, Barnes, Hazard is definitely becoming quite the player. I can't too much disagree apart from my point with Evans. I think Evans maybe went a bit unnoticed with some of the things he did today. I think it was a tough shout, and if he'd have picked Evans, I would have been happy with that. But I can't disagree with his choice of Harvey Barnes. He's becoming ever such a good player that we all hoped he did, and he seems like one that goes searching for advice. I know he's had a few names that have been linked with who he's spoken to, like Shearer, etc. Rodgers has had him in. He's been going questioning like, how do I do this? How can I improve? And he's paying dividends for it. And sometimes, 2 ends of the spectrum. Nacho and Zaha, 2 players that I'll have to read Brooklyn's comment in a second. That's threw me off. But hi Brooklyn, by the way, nice of you to join us.
He did actually ask me to mention that earlier, but I think he might
Nacho and Zaha's, don't seem to always show their effort they could definitely put in. But Barnes always looks keen to learn and keen to improve. It's like he's heard the criticism of last season. He was probably a Speedy Gonzalez down a wing about 8, 9 months or 12 months ago, but he was a bit like deer in the headlights and a bit scared maybe to take the headlines. Maybe he saw a load of wild shots from Tielemans and Pratt and Maddison that flew over the bar and thought, well, I don't want to join that sort of negativity. And now he's taking shots and he's finding his confidence and it's flying through the roof. He's becoming a hell of an all-rounded left winger. And maybe if that keeps going, it would be less tongue-in-cheek that I say I compare him to the likes of Eden Hazard on that left because he's doing well.
Maybe one day you might just say exactly the same about Perez, but I have a feeling
No. The only time I compare Perez to Eden Hazard is when we played him at Stamford Bridge, Mourinho's last game, and Hazard said, I want to come off. Mourinho said, well, get back on, and he came on and did a little circle and then came off on his own accord. That's the only reason I could see Perez and Hazard in the same light.
Right. Brad, we've just gone over the hour, so I'm going to say thank you very, very much for joining us. And thank you very much for your patience at the start in waiting to come in while I let off steam.
Yeah, it's all right, Matt. I could have had a beer and a rant that you had and enjoyed it with some popcorn, but you're right and entitled to an opinion. I don't think there's too many that would disagree with you. Might tell you off for your profanities, mate, but apart from that, I don't think there'd be too much disagreeing with you.
Yeah, I don't know if the watershed is the same on YouTube as it is on TV, but we'll see you back here on Sunday. Is it Sunday? I think it is Sunday. We play Newcastle, isn't it?
Most likely, mate. I lose track every time.
To be honest with you, it is such a hard. I mean, I sent the thing out Sunday the 3rd at 2:15, and it's on Sky. So basically, guys, tune in at 2:15 because the hour before the game won't be worth watching because we won't get a mention. It'll all be Man United and Tottenham. But
oh yeah, no doubt. The Pochettino one as well, no doubt. Somehow, if he's not already taken over as a new manager's job, I'm telling you this now. Hold it on record because it's live. Typical Leicester fashion. Leicester 3, Newcastle 0. You can put that in with your pre-match predictions for that one, mate. I'm going with it 3-0 Leicester.
You heard it here. You heard it here first, guys. Although I went for 3-0 today. What do I know? Brad, stay safe, mate. Have a fantastic
Yeah, all of you Foxes have a lovely new year. Thank you guys for all your support. I haven't checked yet, but I daren't say it because Christmas goal was hit at 200, and without even thinking of it myself or saying anything to Chris, we're actually flying towards 250. So thank you so much for your support since we started this channel this season. It's been great, and it's great to see it keep going. And just thank you in case I don't speak to you before the new year, guys.
Again, Brad, we could have almost scripted this. Let's You nod them over, mate. I'll kick them in. Brad, happy New Year.
Maybe we could be up front with Vardy. We'll show him how it's done.
Yeah. And remember, guys, give us a subscribe. Thanks very much, Brad. Happy New Year, mate. I'll see you on Sunday night.
Guys.
Take care.
Yeah, take care, mate.
Thanks to Brad there for all he's done this year. Brad actually was one of the, he was the first co-presenter with me all the way back. And the first program we did, which was the post-match show of the Birmingham Friendly before, well, obviously Friendly pre-season. Seems years ago that now. That was the first thing we've done. We've come a long way since then. even with the videos and everything we've got, and I look back at what it was then and what it is now, it's surprising how far we've come. Surprising how much we spent as well. So I'm actually having to write that down and work that out for the tax man. It's a little bit scary. Guys, have a really, really, really good new year. Please like us on YouTube at Leicester Till I Die TV. Give the channel a subscribe and the like, and click that notification button so you never miss a show. 9 shows we're doing at the moment, and that's going to go up to 10 because we've got an extra show coming in the new year, which we'll tell you about post New Year. We'll be back tomorrow night, myself and Craig, because we'll be doing the preview show when we will be looking forward to the aforementioned Newcastle game up at Newcastle. And Friday will be, well, maybe Friday, I'm not sure, but will be the opposition view game. We'll be sneaking one of those in before the end of the year. And then on Wednesday, look out at 7 o'clock, we'll be doing a transfer special. Don't know what's going to be happening with the transfer window, of course. We love it. I might even actually, I don't know if I've got a yellow tie. I'll have to see if I've got a yellow tie. With a transfer special, we will be a special guest in Matthew, who you've probably seen make a few comments. But we're looking at players we might be getting rid of. Who do you want to see leave us this transfer window? Iheanacho, Perez, Gray, anybody else? Join us Wednesday at 7 for that and let us know who you want to leave. Other than that, we'll see you tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, with Craig for the preview show for Newcastle. Thanks so much for joining us, guys. Wasn't the result we wanted today. I've let off steam. Apologies for my language. I'm going to go now and ban myself and whip myself just because I like it, really. Take care, guys. Happy New Year. All the best.
Thanks for watching Leicester Till I Die. This is Chris saying goodbye and see you next time.
Shut up and sit down.
Thanks for watching. These videos are tremendous. You better like them too, or I'll be back.